Hey, Kevin Coco here. I'm with Temuera Morrison,
Aye.
and he's one of New Zealand's top Māori movie actors.
Oh, thank you, mate. Ooh, there's a few big Maori actors out there. Thank you for including me.
So when did you get into the movie business?
Well, when I was about 30 years ago, I came from the Morrison family. We were very much involved in our kapahaka, our culture. And there's too many singers in our family, so I thought, I might try this acting buzz out. But like in life, things you stumble upon, not intentionally sometimes, and you find something. I was used as an extra, that kind of led, just starting off getting parts in the background, always crossing the street. I was hitchhiking up from Rotorua to Auckland, just with that dream in my mind, thinking that I could... I tell you what I used to do. I used to work in a place called Māori Affairs. That's like a public service department in the streets of Rotorua. Not long after, I used to go to Wesley College, of course, just down the road here in Pukekohe. Left school back in 77. And like a lot of Māori, didn't have a whole lot of qualifications. A for absent. And then I used to be going to this office job a lot, and I'd be walking down the street, and I'd always pretend... there was a camera across the road filming me.
Good.
Yes, it was good. And then that's where I guess my dream came from.
So, how many movies have you done in the past?
How many movies? Well, I first started in television, and then that kind of led to movies. I think I've done about probably 9, 10 now. Started with that big one, Warriors. I was in a few movies before that, in minor roles, smaller parts. Movies like Modi. Grass cutter, so I was getting a little bit of experience. Then Warriors came along, of course, Once Were Warriors, which had that kind of universal thing. I might look a bit silly there with my hand around you through this whole interview, eh, buddy? So I'll bring it back over here. But yeah, about probably 10 now. I work overseas a little bit if I'm so lucky in Hollywood.
The Once Were Warriors,
Yep.
playing the lead role.
Yep, Jake
the Muss.
Hickey. I wasn't going to be Jake,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So was that a hard character to act?
Very much so.
Okay.
People may remember me from a soap, Shortland Street, where I played a doctor. So this was like Mr. Goody Goody Two Shoes, curly hair, doctor, kind of soap stuff. But then this gritty, powerful, raw film came along, and I think the guy who they had actually to play Jake kind of couldn't do it anymore for some reason. I think he was committed elsewhere. So originally I was going to be a policeman. Someone was he was also looking at me, Lee Tamahori, the director, was also looking at me to play Uncle Bully. And I'd kind of secured that role first. And then they called me back in again to see if I could have a go at Jake. And I actually went to the Shortland Street wardrobe department, got a cut-off shirt, skinny arms then, put some tats on my face, and I walked into this, or I gave it a go. And the director, Lee, saw something in that audition that he was obviously knew that he could work with, I guess. They had two options: get a real tough deal, the real deal Jake, and try and teach him how to act, with those processes, and you know what I mean. It looks easy, but you got to have a few clues, and then otherwise they go with a kind of an actor and rough him up a bit, and that's what they did. They went with me, who had a little bit more experience in television, film. And then they kind of roughed me up a bit. They sent me off to the gym. Had to do a lot of work, but yeah, it was a big call, buddy. One of the big ones.
You told me a musician can act, and an actor is hard to be a musician. Can you explain why?
That's a good question. Like this film, Mount Zion, that we're both working on. Well, Stan hadn't done any acting, but he was a great singer. And so I knew, well, hey, Stan, you're a singer. For 2-3 minutes of your song, you're portraying emotion through your guitaring, through your voice, through your violin. It's emotional. It's an emotional journey within that short space of time. So they know an emotional kind of thing, and that's what acting's about. So all I was saying was some musicians make very, very good actors. But I also said actors don't necessarily make good musicians, because we can always have playback and just move our fingers, you know what I mean? And then, of course, when it comes to the actual playing, the hard grit, the hard yards, you get so good because you play for so long.
Yeah.
and you've put those hours in. You've done the graft, you've done the hard yards. That's why you're such a good guitarist.
Oh, I try to be.
Huh? You know? And you get there, like me with my acting, I guess. It's just experience.
Do you have any tips for anyone who wants to get into the movie acting business?
Tips, if they want to get in the movie business? Well, that's the key word. You got to want to. You got to want to. I used to dream of a camera across the road. I'm in my imagination. I'm walking down the streets of Rotorua going, there's a camera across the road filming me. I don't know why I had that image in my mind, but so I think it came out of a want, this dream. Gee, I wonder if I could do it. Then I ended up in the business through being an extra, bits and pieces, one line here and then two lines there. Then people put me in television. I had a few people around me, people like Don Selwyn, a great theatre actor in New Zealand. A lot of people who have now passed on have taught me. I've been involved in a whole lot of films, a whole lot of television. And when I wasn't acting, I was doing radio. And that's the other thing. When you want to act, we're portraying people around the universe. So you must observe, you must learn, and you've got to do other things in life. It's best, though, to have this acting thing as a passion, because when you're not acting, it's a bit lonely out there, buddy. A bit sad, those moments between gigs. Those long pauses between gigs. So now I'm thinking, gee, well, what else can I do? Because those pauses between gigs are getting longer. But you've got to have a want, a desire. You've got to learn everything. You've got to get the formulas. You've got to get the recipes. I used to work in a video shop and watch videos. Watch De Niro every bloody day. All the great actors, all the old actors. Clint Eastwood, Paul Newman, Donald Sutherland. Character actors. Wow. I knew Laurence Olivier. I worked with Marlon Brando. Wow. They didn't get bigger than that guy in there.
Yeah, that's right.
And I used to watch videos, and then I wanted to be an actor.
That's good.
And something when you start thinking and doing every little small positive step. If I wasn't acting, I was working on radio. I was working with my voice. Sometimes my family had a big singing stage background anyway.
Just being active, eh?
And I guess that's part of it, It's what you're ingrained in you. I grew up with my Uncle Howard singing on the stage. I was one of the cultural performers, the whānau in the back, doing the kapahaka. Those were the seeds.
Yes.
Those were the seeds of I guess, my performance career.
Thank you, Temuera. That was awesome. Eh?
Ka ni te mihi ki a koe.
Temuera Morrison.
Here in Pukekohe, just off the film set, Mount Zion.